fractions are going to be values that have an exponent of 3. So if you notice here, both of these are written with an exponent of 3, and there's only 2 terms, right? All the stuff we've been factoring had 3 things to it, right? The number in front, and your sum, and your product. Or it had 4 things, and we could put it into groups, right? These are only going to have 2 terms, and we're going to have a specific formula that we use to factor if it's a cubic. So our first formula is if you have 2 things being added together, all right? Make sure you copy the formula down exactly as I write it up here, because these 2 formulas are almost exactly the same. The only thing that changes is some of the signs, all right? So the formula, if we are adding, is u plus v in the first parenthesis, and then we're going to have u squared minus uv plus v squared. So if we have 2 terms being added together, this is the formula that we will use. All right? Now, if you have 2 terms that are cubes that are being subtracted, the formula is almost exactly the same. The only thing that's going to change is some of our signs, some of these positives and negatives that were in there. So if it's 2 that are being subtracted, it's going to be u minus v in the first parenthesis. And then it's going to be u squared plus uv plus v squared. All right? All right, so u and v could be any number or any letter. It's going to change for every equation. But u is going to be whichever one we see first. V will be whichever one we see second. All right? So if you notice, to use one of these formulas, it has to be written, both of them, with an exponent of 3, right? Okay, when I look at number 1, this has an exponent of 3, so it's good to go for the formula. But does this have an exponent of 3? No, so I have to rewrite it as something that's equivalent to 8, but has an exponent of 3. So I have to ask myself, what to the 3rd power would give me 8? We may or may not know off the top of our head, but our calculator, no. But our calculator will do it for us. So if you will grab your calculator, you're going to press the button that says math. And it brings up a list over here. You're going to choose number 4, the one that has a square root with a little 3 in front of it, because we're going to take the cubed root of something. So the number we're looking for is 8, right? We want to fix 8. The cubed root of 8 is 2. So 2 to the 3rd power, if you check, is the same thing as 8, apparently. So I am going to rewrite this 8. I'm going to cross it out. I'm going to turn it into actually a 2 to the 3rd power. So now that it fits my rules up here, okay? All right, so now that I can have something both to the 3rd power, I look at my sign. It has a plus in the middle, right? So that means I'm going to use the first formula that we wrote down. Okay, so what I need to do first is identify what I'm supposed to be plugging in for u and what I'm going to plug in for v. So u is the first term. What's our first term? X. So anywhere there is a u in the formula, I'm going to replace it with an x. Okay, v is the second term in the formula. What am I going to be replacing v with? 2. We said that we changed that to a 2. So anywhere there's a v, we're going to replace it with 2. All right, and we said we're going to use the top formula, right? Okay, that top formula has a parenthesis with u plus v. Well, what would our u plus v be? x plus 2. So I'm going to put in x plus 2. All right, and then I open my second set of parentheses. It starts out with u squared. Well, what's our u? X. So we'll put x squared. All right. Then it says we put minus u times v. Well, what's our u times v? X times 2. What is x times 2? 2x. All right. Plus, it says v squared. What's our v? 2. So 2 squared, what's 2 squared? 4. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Just plug it into the formula. All right. So let's do another one. Okay, remember, everything in the equation has to be written to the third power, right? Okay, the x is to the third power, but is the 27 to the third power? No. So we need to fix it. So I'm going to go in my calculator, press that button, math, number 4, and we want to fix the number 27. So I can rewrite it as what? 3. All right, so I'm going to mark this out and turn it into a 3. And now it's to the third power, and so is the x. So now it's 3x, all to the third power. Okay, is the 1 currently written as something to the third power? No. So let's fix the 1. What would I rewrite 1 as? 1. Just 1. We just put a cube on there, right? Okay, so my u is the first part of the equation. What's our first part? 3x. And v is the second part. What's our v? Just 1. Right? Okay, this time do we have a plus or a minus in the middle? So I'm going to use the second formula this time, right? So it's this one right here. All right, so the formula starts out with a parenthesis, u minus v. Well, what's our u minus v? 3x minus, yes, good, minus 1, nice. All right, and then I open my second parenthesis, u squared. What is our u? 3x. So I'm going to put my 3x in parentheses because remember, I'm squaring the whole thing, not just the x, not just the 3, right? Okay, then I'm going to put minus u times v. Oh, sorry, plus u times v. Well, what is 3x times 1? 3x. Right, and then it says plus v squared. What is 1 squared? 1. Okay. The only thing that I could simplify further is this piece right here that we're supposed to be squaring. What is 3 squared? 9. And x squared is just x squared, right? So I could rewrite that piece as 9x squared, but everything else in the entire equation stays just how it already was. So we just fixed that part. Okay. All right, so far, this one, there was no way it had a GCF, nothing in common, right? Here it was 1, no GCF. Does number 3 have a GCF? Yeah, what's my GCF? 3. Okay, so let's take out our GCF first. So if I take 3 out of 3x cubed, what's left? X cubed. And if I take 3 out of 192, what's left? Good. Okay. All right, now before we can apply the formula, remember both of our pieces here have to be written as something to a cube. The x is good, right? What about the 64?
Wait, so there'll never be a decimal?
Not in what we're doing. Okay, Kevin, did you take out the GCF like we did, or did you stop looking up here? take out the 3. All right, so how would I fix the 64? What could I rewrite it as? 4. So I'm going to mark that out and turn it into a 4 cubed. All right, so remember, u is the first piece. What's my first piece right here? X, And then what's my v? 4. Okay. All right, so now we're going to apply the formula, but remember, we always put our GCF out front, right? So bring your GCF down, and now we'll factor. All right, since I had a plus in the middle, am I going to use the first formula or the second formula? The first one. All right, so that formula says u plus v. What's that for us? Very good. Times, not 2x, x squared. Right idea. Minus u times v. 4x plus v squared. 16. 4 squared is 16. There we go. All right. Okay, let's do another one. Number 4, does it have a GCF? No. Okay, so no GCF. The x is okay. What about the 125? Gotta fix it. What can I turn it into? 5. Rewrite it as 5 cubed. All right, so what's my u? X. And what's my v? 5. All right, it has a plus in the middle, so first or second formula? First. All right, so that formula is u plus v. So for us, that's going to be x plus 5. All right, and then u squared, what's that going to be? X squared minus u times v. What is that? 5x plus v squared, 25. There we go. All right, number 5, does it have a GCF? No, okay. Well, the x is to the 3rd power, but is the 8? No. So what could I fix the 8 with? 2. Okay, so I'm going to mark this out. It's going to become 2x to the 3rd, okay? Minus just 1 to the 3rd, right? Okay, so what's my u? 2x. And what's my v? 1. All right, this time, am I using the first or the second formula? The second, because it's got a minus in there, right? Okay, so for us, that's supposed to read u minus v. What's that? 2x minus 1. Times u squared. Yeah. Because I have to square this whole thing, right? If I square this, I square the 2. What is 2 squared? 4. And I have to square the x, which would just be x squared, right? Okay. Then plus u times v. 2x. 2x times 1 is just 2x. Okay, and then plus 1. 1 squared is 1. All right. Number 6. Do we have a GCF on number 6?
3.
Yeah, 3 will be our GCF. Okay, so I pull out a 3. If I take the 3 out of 3x cubed, what's left? X cubed. And what's negative 24 divided by 3?
8.
Negative 8. Good. Okay, so now I look for my u and my v. So u is the first piece. What's that? Good. And v is the second piece. Is the 8 ready to go? No. How could I change my 8? What would I change it into? So my v must be perfect. All right, are we going to use first or second formula? Second, because it's got a minus. All right, so don't forget, bring your GCF out in front. So So we've got that 3 in front. Okay? And then we're going to have u minus v. What's that going to be? Good. All right, and then in that second parenthesis, we should have u squared, which would be x squared. Okay, and then plus u times v. 2x, good. Plus v squared. 4. Good job. All right, just a couple more. Okay, does number 8 have a GCF? No. Okay. All right, the x is good, the y is good, is the 64 good? Okay, so we got to fix the 64. What would we turn it into? Good. So I'm going to mark this one out and rewrite it as 4x all to the third power. Okay, so what does that mean u is? 4x. And what does that mean v is? Y. Are we going to use first or second formula? First. All right, so what is u plus v here? 4x plus y. All right. Then at the beginning of the next parenthesis, I'm supposed to have u squared. So that means I'm going to square this whole thing here. 16x squared, very good. All right. And then I'm going to have minus u times v. 4x times y, what would that be? 4xy. Good. All right, and then plus v squared. Y squared. Nice. Okay, last one. Do we have a GCF? 2. Okay, so I take out my 2, and what's left? X cubed minus 8. Okay, so what's my u? Not the 2. Right, the 2 is the GCF. So the u is the first thing there that's cubed, so it is x. Is my v ready to go right now? No. I gotta fix the 8. What does 8 become? 2. 2 cubed. So what's v? 2. All right, so what am I going to bring down and put out in front? The 2, my GCF, so bring that 2 down. All right, and then in my parenthesis, am I going to have u minus v or u plus v? U minus v, so that for us would be x minus 2. Good job. Okay, and then the second parenthesis starts with u squared. X squared plus 2x plus x. So these ones aren't too bad because you're just plugging straight into a formula every time. You don't have to guess the numbers, right? And I will give you the formulas forever. You don't need to have them memorized. When it comes time for the test, you'll get a little formula chart. All right? Okay, let me pass on the practice that goes with this.